Guys leave a tremendous impact on the yeshiva. I want to describe why graduation and the whole period of graduation in Durham is so powerful, and there's an electricity at the end of the year. I'd like to describe it a little bit. I'd like to describe why it's so magical, and even why we've discussed. Is Matas Palak here now?
Not yet.
Perfect. Matas is pounding Makas, and there's a Gemara in Makas. There's a Gemara in Makas that says, Harbi lamadi meraboisai, mechaveira yoisemem, metalmida yoisemi That Harbi lamadi meraboisai, a lot I learned from my Rebbeim. Now that line is very, very wild, because a Rebbe, I'm 48 years old, and my Rebbe, I think a lot about what my Rebbe did for me and did to me. I think about it a lot. I was zeichet here 9 years of shiurim by my Rebbe, but really many, many more decades, because I grew up as a little kid. I heard him shalosh shudis for years, for many, many years, and his speeches attracted me. The person very much, things he said resonated a lot by me, and I'm 48 and I still think about what drew me, what changed me, what hit me. So, and there, I can articulate things that got to me from my Rebbe. But a Rebbe is life-changing. My Rebbe, in a world that I didn't hear much about emotion and human frailty, and I thought you're just supposed to be stark. And my Rebbe would talk a lot about human frailty, his own, and that was one of the things that very much drew me, wow, there's such a thing, you're allowed to be frail. There was something about that. I think he was many years ahead of his time and spoke about things I hadn't heard much from others. So that was very exhilarating and drew me in a lot, that you're allowed to be human. I thought that was amazing. But there are many aspects what my Rebbe brought to me. L'maisa, a Rebbe changes your life, and then you say, Mechaveira yoisemi, really? And Metalmida yoisemi kulam. Now I want to say, if the experience of teaching is you have your shiurim, and you teach your shiurim beautifully, you have beautiful things to teach, and you spend a year teaching it. And then the next group comes in, and you teach for the year. And then the next group comes in, and you teach for the year. Then don't you dare tell me, Talmida Yosim Kum, that's a bunch of baloney. You say, what do you mean? A guy once asked a kasha. Stop. Your Rebbe changed. And you could say, well, the force to share my stuff, didn't matter who was sitting there. You didn't share your stuff with different people. You shared your stuff. Elamai, the pressure. So let's say you pretended you found out there were no real Talmidim. They were all robots that year. So it wasn't Talmida Yosemi Kulam. That was what you thought were Talmidim. You found out you had none. So it's not Talmida. Your pressure to say share, I hear. So theoretically, if there were a bunch of people dressed up, they were all goyim. It was usher to teach Torah too. So Talmida Yosem, your pressure to teach. Who said Talmida Yosem Kum is saying something? That you have Talmidim, you're impacted. So it's saying something. What's Talmida Yosem Kum? What's very, very dramatic about a graduation time in yeshiva, in a very secular education place, it's a bunch of malarkey graduation. Because if you think about a secular school where the teachers taught their subjects, math, science, it could even be Talmud, it could even be Chumash. But the teachers taught their subjects. And a group of people passed through their classrooms. So it's not the kids graduate. What do you mean he graduated? The teacher graduated. He finished his limudim. Nothing dynamic happened to people. Then a new group comes in and they plug into the curriculum. Then a new group. It's not the kids' graduation. I mean, They learned that material, I guess, so they're celebrating. I don't know, are they excited to finish that material? They finished your material. You graduated. Another group of people passed before you. But in a world where it matters people's journey, Where are you up to? What are you thinking? It matters your journey. So then graduation is electric. People have reached the state. They've come, they've traveled, they've worked. It matters. In a world where you teach like that, it matters who's in front of you. Yep. And there's dialogue and connection. Then it's possible to say somebody shares with you in a way your Rebbe didn't share with you his own journey. You experience the journey in a way you've never experienced in your life. Then I can hear a world, mitalmida yosem mikulam. But there has to be people and experiences, and it matters their experience. You're actually like sharing in somebody's experience and journey and process and you're being taught a lot. You don't have an end game that he ends up a certain. You don't know where it's going to end. You don't know where it's going to go. It's not like that. There's somebody who's working through. There's a soul who's processing, who's figuring out, who's on a journey. Graduation becomes very, very real in such an environment. People have traveled. People have moved. They haven't finished your stuff. People have moved. A lot of people have graduated. The guys in yeshiva really make an impact on yeshiva to the point it's a very hard place. I was talking to guys about this. Right, Farkas, the guys who come back, we have 12th grade, some guys come back 13th grade. It's not like they're staying almost. It's not like you're staying in the yeshiva. The yeshiva dramatically changes yearly because the new guys, 100 new guys come to yeshiva. It's a different yeshiva. If it's the same bell ring, science man, bell ring, so the yeshiva is like remarkably the same. The personalities don't really matter. Maybe by recess, maybe if you, but what the yeshiva is the same classes. Where the different guys, different struggles, different ideas, different things come in, and it's allowed, and you're allowed. So the yeshiva dramatically changes yearly. And we all have to readjust to the new yeshiva, the new chaver, the new guys who come in. The guys have an opportunity to really impact the yeshiva tremendously, and guys' journeys stay in yeshiva. You could see years of guys who were impacted by guys in the past who brought things, who created things, who developed things. It's interesting. Rabbi Kaf in the yeshiva has a certain shir. Nachi Sklar built his shir. Let's be honest and real. He got a group of Chevra Nachi, and with beauty and sincerity, and he built a certain crew, and it still exists in Yeshiva. There are guys, Talmidim of Nachi, who don't necessarily. He built something in Yeshiva that's still there. He found himself a Rebbe, a Seilach Harav, and created a certain environment that still exists, still functions yearly. It's amazing. You built it 4 years ago, Nachi? 3 years ago. 3 years ago, it's still existing in Yeshiva. That's a structure that lasts, that still remains, a certain group and a certain. So I want to say that we were zeicha that Chaim was both a bacher in the yeshiva, then a dorm counselor in yeshiva, a mashpia in the yeshiva, and he changed me. He impacted my children, and he impacted the yeshiva. The Chaim's own journny, and I'd say the word emotional nuance, like really, he's a very good listener who gets it, who hears, who understands, who's willing to to try to understand, and his teacher, I don't want to say taught me like I got it already. I don't got it yet, but I'm working on getting it. Like I'm trying to understand better, trying to listen. Guys ask for meetings. I promise I want to meet with every guy. I tell guys I want to meet with all the guys all day, hours. I want to hear. And I tell my wife a lot of times frustrating that I wasn't able to listen properly. I have a lot of systems I see on myself in not feeling emotionally. So I could be quiet. Are you hearing? Are you absorbing, Kalish? And I have a lot of tricks that I've developed, carefully crafted over the years to not feel. I'm not doing it to you. I did it to me. And it's hard. It's hard to really hear and to process and to feel and to be there. A guy feels upset, why didn't you give me a meeting? I want to meet with you, I promise you. But I don't want to just be that you met with the wall. I want to be a person there. And I have to be there and be present. Chaim taught me a lot of that. I watch him listen to somebody else and be present for that. It's not just a matter of listening. Guys in yeshiva, I've thought about this a lot. Guys love speaking to Morty Samwitz. So Yosef and I were talking about it, why guys love speaking to Morty. And I say the reason is when you tell him something, you move him. He's moved by it. A guy could tell him something, you could see in his body, he like hears you. It's not what he says, it's not how he answers, it's not like that, he really hears you. You could feel it, you could sense it. It's not a trick in a book like to learn how to listen and say the right thing. Oh, that must be hard. All we think when you say that is shut up. It's not a trick. I'm talking about that you're listening, that it's going through your system, that it's making an impact. You tell Morty something that has impacted him. You've impacted Morty. There's a humility to that. There's an honesty to that. There's taking walls down. We all have good walls that we do for good reasons. Hashem built us smart. We weren't always ready to hear. I'm learning slowly. You'd be impressed, Chaim, because of you. A guy will tell me something. I've gone on walks and I've started crying because a guy told me and I really heard what he was saying. You'll find yourself crying because you heard what he said. You want to hear. And Chaim brought levels of listening, of understanding ourselves. Getting ourselves, experiencing Hashem built us well. From that place, we're safe without many of our walls. We can deconstruct. We built them when we needed them. But clearly, it's a dar that wants to take down some of the walls. It's a generation that's willing and wants to take down some of the walls, and we could do it. Chaim brought tremendous amounts to the yeshiva. Incredible what he brought to the yeshiva. I don't know why my mind's going to one conversation with a guy. I could tell Chaim which bacher in the gazebo in yeshiva. When a bacher was expressing a lot of pain, and I was there with Chaim, the guy recently texted me. This bacher been through a lot of tzar, and the way Chaim was listening, I was sitting there, the way I'm watching Chaim experience his experiencing, and me saying, I need to learn how to experience what he's experienced, need to learn how to listen. What my walls, I'm like problem solving well before I was giving the answers. I was giving answers well before I was feeling what he was saying. So that one experience in the gazebo was, but I've seen it many times with Chaim. So I want to ask Chaim, I'm happy he's back with his wife and with Yisrael. I wish him a mazel tov on his victory last night in Balderdash. And Chaim, please.
Okay, so I'm very nervous. I just think it's very interesting, and I'm going to tie this in a way. Rebbe was just giving me a compliment about breaking down the inner walls within ourselves so that we can actually feel. I think I spent the first 2 years of being in Waterbury breaking literally the walls of the yeshiva. Me and Yehuda, I'm saying I literally broke walls constantly. It was a real problem. Yeah, I actually broke the walls of the yeshiva. It wasn't a joke. Rebbe asked me to speak, so my mind went flying for like 2 days. So I just wanted to share an idea, something that's been on my mind. It's something that I use practically in my Avodas Hashem. It's something that's like, I would say, a foundational stone in my... In the way that I like to serve, when someone says a vart like this, they know this is like a Chaim vart. Like people that know me love telling me things like this, and it also connects to a lot with what Rebbe was just saying, which is always like that. I'll start off, and I just want to say that it's hard for me. I have Rabbi Farkas, Rabbi Kalish, Rabbi Thaler. I have all the guys here. I have my wife here. And the guys here are honest, so if I'm saying stuff, then you guys will know. So there's I can speak anywhere else and say a cool idea. It's wow, I love that, whatever. But here it's there's an honesty that exists that's very hard to come off as I can't be Joey Rosenfeld right now. Not Joey Rosenfeld is that be'etzem, but I can't pretend to be somebody else. I have to really share it for myself. So it's a very legit thing, but yeah. So the Baal Shem Tov speaks about a lot, or not about a lot, but there's an idea that comes from the Baal Shem Tov. It's a very dangerous idea, A lot of his Talmidim were not into this. But I want to bring out a point from this idea that the Baal Shem Tov speaks about, this idea that when you get plagued with negative thoughts or machshava zaros, something that's not appropriate for the situation at hand, he speaks about this idea of aliyas, going to like the root of it and like being metakin b'sharshav, to like take that idea, whether it's an inappropriate thought or whether it's like I really want to hit that guy, or whether it's just like I don't want to be here right now. A machshava zara, something that's not meant to be in this moment right now. Something that's not meant to be here. I'm thinking about my dog, but I'm davening, right? Like, why am I doing that? So, the Baal Shem Tov speaks about that in each, or an emotion that comes up that doesn't make sense in the moment. Like, why is it coming up? So the Baal Shem Tov speaks about this idea that that you elevate that, you go to the root of that of that emotion or thought. In the moment, he speaks about in the moment, and you find the source of it, and then when you get to the source of it, then you bring that and you realize that it's all about Hashem, how I love Hashem, how I fear Hashem, how I am, nothing compared to Hashem, whatever the idea is, right? So the Maggid of Mezrich and the Baal Tanya very quickly say not to be Isaac in this in the moment. This is not something that we're meant to get obsessed with. The main eitzah in general when we're having thoughts that trouble us is to just be like, dude, it's just a thought. There's a lot of stuff that goes on. Human beings are very complex, but don't take yourself too seriously. Hesed chadas, or share with somebody else, but don't give it too much credence. It's not such an important thing. But this teaching, this idea from the Baal Shem Tov impacted me deeply in a way that, not in the moment. We're taking it out of the moment. But I have a lot of things that I do in my life, a lot of things that I did in the past that are very troublesome. There's thoughts that I have. There's constant I'm a very lazy person. I think I am. I have a lot of things going on. Just, what do I do with this endless negative characteristics that I'm constantly finding in myself? So something that I try to do is that, okay, I'm not doing it in the moment. But what I do is that I reframe. I go back to myself and I go that nothing is bad. Nothing inside of me is bad. Right? Like Rabbi Kalish was just sharing that. There's nothing inside of me that's bad. Now, what comes out of me could be a lav deraisa, could be mamish, the worst stuff in the world. What comes out, the output is different than the shirish of where it comes from. So when I look at myself, I have to know that I have tremendous kaiches inside of me. Clearly, from the way that I'm thinking, from what I'm seeing, from everything that's going on inside of me, there's a lot going on inside of me. So what do I do with that? I have to know that there's a lot. Okay, I'm not dealing with it in the moment. In the moment, I usually go, it's just a thought, it's fine. Or I go to I share it with somebody else. But to know that what the Baal Shem Tov was saying, okay, I'm not Isaac in the avodah of being oile like the machshava zara. I have to know that also, okay, not in the moment, but just to know that myself, that all these things are happening because there's tremendous kaiches inside of me that are asking for Hashem. One of the things that Baal Shem Tov says that when you really dig deep down to the shirish of that negative thought, negative idea, you will find a part of you, and he brings it down to the spheres. He breaks it down to we all have 7 emotive traits, 7 emotions, and if we break down every thought and feeling comes from these 7 spheres, and all the spheres are clearly used l'kedusha. Yeah, there's obviously ways to use it not l'kedusha, but every single emotion and feeling that we have and thought comes from a place of kedusha. So when I know that about myself, I stop thinking of myself as bad. Yes, there's a lot of things that I do that are not al derech hatayra. Yes, I'm lazy. There's a lot of different things that are going on. The reason I'm using lazy is that I heard this from somebody that Rav Chaim Kanievsky said on himself that he was a very lazy person. Now he sat down and learned his whole life. That's not a coincidence. That's the person that says he's the laziest person in the world, or I don't know if he said the laziest person in the world, but he said I'm a very lazy person, sat down and learned his whole life. He clearly used that in order to learn. It's not like the Gemara in Sukkah says, there's a way to use every single thing that we have. Okay, Lemaisa, I'm using it negative. I got to take care of that, and I'm not meant to be involved in in the moment of me thinking the negative thing, like bringing it up and like whatever, but just to know that there's things inside of me and they're all deep, special kaiches. When I rewire myself in that way, it becomes a different thing. Reb Nachman, it's not clear from Reb Nachman, and a lot of Reb Nachman Torahs are also, it's not clear from Reb Nachman, but it's kind of like a Sfas Emes on steroids, I find. Like, you don't know what he's ever saying, but like you think you know, and then he says like a one-liner, and you're like, wow, but even that one-liner you don't really get, because it's based on a whole teaching, and you're like, oh! And it's like, okay. But something that I said from the Baal Shem Tov, that he equates the midas that we have to the Isius of the Torah. That the emotions that we have to the Isius of the Torah. That every ice in the Torah matters, right? Without one ice, the Torah is puzzle. And he brings that our midas are also like that. That without each and every single emotion that we have, he doesn't say it like this, and I could be completely wrong, but this is how I understood it. And he speaks about this idea that a lot of the times they're stuck in a lot of chayshech. There's a lot of chayshech in those midas, and you have to uncover it. There's a lot of uncovering and processing of what's going on. But every ice and every midah, every emotion and thought that we have, has in it an element of kedusha inside of it. Now, what I do with that is that I have to really uncover it. But then when I realize that inside of that there's a deep, deep, deep connection and powerful connection to Hashem in that thought, in that emotion, I actually become to elevate it, and it becomes more and more and more present. It becomes a central stone in the service of Hashem. I wanna tell you guys something. I'm a little upset that it's being recorded, but I'm gonna speak al derech more remez. But my Yetzer Hara taught me a lot of lessons. My Yetzer Hara taught me a lot of lessons in my life. And one of those lessons is that I deeply need deep connections in my life. I can't survive without deep connections. Like maybe somebody else could, whatever. I'm somebody that without deep, deep connections just doesn't survive. And another thing is that I really look for the secrets inside of everything. I look for like the deepest parts in people. I look for like the deepest parts in interactions with people and the deepest parts in things. And my Yetzer Hara taught me that. Like my Yetzer Hara is my Rebbe in a lot of ways, but in one of it is that I can't survive without those two things. And Rebbe spends time with this idea about Chanoich l'nar al pi darka gam ki yaskin lo yasur mimenu. And I just want to share this, like, there's a lot of stuff that I want to share, especially with Rebbe and with the Chevra, that I spent time in the beginning of the year being in a kollel that was very, very good. And it was like the best thing for me according to the entire world. Like, it was perfectly crafted for me. But the more time I spent there, and it was like, I want to learn halacha, I want to learn all these different things, and it was like, what's the problem? I mamish didn't feel like myself. I don't know how to explain it. I literally didn't feel like myself. And I was very like, I came to Eretz Yisrael, I'm married, I'm a kollel guy. How come I can't stay in a conventional kollel? Like, a good place that's going to teach me a tremendous amount of Torah from a very special person. Like, how come I can't, like, do that? Like, how come I just can't, why can't I just be like, and the guys in that kollel are not that normal, like, in the way that, like, they're very, like, normal. They're very gishmake, outgoing, like, chevra. Like, how come I can't be like, why can't I just be like everyone else? Why can't I just do the thing, just be the guy that just, like, sit, like, just do it, like, just, and mamish, like, my entire body was like, every Rebbe that I was calling was telling me to stay. Every person but like just my heart was like, I just don't know what to do. I mamish don't feel it. And it's like, all my Rebbeim are telling me something. But then I have a voice in the back of my head going, Chaim, just do you. Chaim, you have to get in touch with the Torah and build a deep cheshek with it. Obviously, it's the voice of Rabbi Kalish in my head. And I don't know if it's true or not true. And like, really bringing that, going through that process, I made the decision to like leave, and because I wanted to build a deep, deep relation to Yiddishkeit, and something that I found on the other side of that, and it was not easy. It was not easy at all, because like I'm a cool guy, I'm married already. Like I should just be like normal. Just be normal, Chaim. Just be normal. Don't be that guy. You don't always have to be that guy. You can shtel too to like the yeshiva system for a little bit. Not that I'm not in a yeshiva now, but something that I found from listening to my heart. And in a deep way, I was davening. I went to Kvarim. I spoke to my Rebbeim, and like it wasn't like a quick 2-second decision. It was like I was Isaac in this for like a good month. What I found in like my own personal Chanech L'Nara Pidarka, or my own Hailech B'Yoshrei, is that I found the Achilek in Torah. I really found a deep connection with the Torah. I don't know how it happened. Like, it's a crazy story. We can get into it if you want to ask me. I found the deep connection with the Torah, but a connection with Torah that's not based on like what anybody else thinks about me. Because like I tell people what I'm learning nowadays, and they look at me like, "You, okay, good job, son. Keep it going. You're good." And obviously, I'm learning in Rabbi Rezek's school. I'm taking care of myself, but there's like a certain part of me that's like has to be like, and I'm learning Torah that's very much connected with the idea that my Yetzer Hara taught me, that I need to connect to secrets, and I need to connect with the deepest parts of Torah. I just do. I need to connect with the deepest parts of things. I don't know why Hashem made me this way, but I see that in this process I'm deeply falling in love with the Torah in a way that I've never seen before in my life. And it's not because I'm forcing myself to be a certain way. It's because I'm listening to my Yetzer Hara. I'm literally listening to my Yetzer Hara telling me that you need to be a certain way and you can't survive otherwise. Like, what's my other Eitzah? Like, I tell a lot of people, like, they're telling me, maybe you should be learning something else. Maybe I want to learn Kol HaTorah Kula. I want to learn every halach. I want to keep everything. What's my other Eitzah? I love this, and it's something that keeps me learning and keeps me growing. It's something that I wake up early for every single day, and it's something that I constantly think about. Do you want me to go to something else that's not doing that for me? And it's something that I'm constantly beating myself up in my own head, and these are mostly conversations that I have with my head. Most people don't tell me this, but it's a constant conversation. It's like, what do you want from me, Hashem? Do you want me to like run away from my teva, or do you want me to work with my teva, the way that I love things, the way that I've always seemed to have gone and learn and to look for things in life? And when I do these things, when I connect to like the deepest parts of myself, it's not easy because there's a lot of flack from my own head mainly, but also flack from like random people. But something that I found is that the more and more I honestly and truly listen to like what my heart is saying, my connection to Torah becomes deeper and deeper and deeper. And the more I listen to like every part of myself, the more I listen to all my midas and all my thoughts and emotions, but not like in a way that I'm like constantly obsessing over them, in a way that it's in a way that it's taking note of what my system likes. Meaning that I'm not listening to like everything that's going on, but like, oh, it's interesting that I have an atiyah towards these things. What's a way that I can give myself this in Kedusha? What's a way that I can harness this in Avodas Hashem? What's a way that I can make sure that I have this in my relationship to Hashem? And when I do that, I develop a deep connection that keeps my heart pumping in the middle of the night. It keeps me going, and it keeps me searching, and it keeps me constantly looking for deeper ways to connect to Hashem. And I just thinking a lot about this. Rabbi Kalish keeps on saying, be you, be you, be you. It's a constant unfolding, but the more and more I listen to that, the more of a deeper connection I have to Hashem. And the funny thing is that what happens, I somehow end up being more starker. That's it. Thank you for letting me share.
Stay here, you'll sing something. The Shloime, come. We need to hear the brothers. You just say it. I'm very intrigued that Torah is called a song. Kisva Lechemes Ashira Azais. It's a very complex sugya. We learned getting in yeshiva, David HaMelech was punished because he said Zmiris Hayuli Chukecha. So it's a sugya you have to learn. David HaMelech called Torah Zmiris, and it was considered a punishment. So it's a sugya. On the other hand, Vata Kisva Lechemes Ashira Azais, the Torah is called a song. And we've discussed this many times, that a song is connecting to the deepest place inside of you. Little kids, you sing to them and they like that. They're gripped And it connects to Rav Sandler in his Sefer on song says that in Shemayim, that's how people talk, with song, so it's very familiar to us. And Torah is called a Shira. It's supposed to connect to the deepest places inside of us. And this thing that Chaim spoke about, his own journey, I love the Baal Shem he said over it. That's incredible, Baal Shem, that the shirish of every nekuda, there's a shirish l'tayv. Chaim brilliantly said, in the moment, don't go to that Baal Shem. You'll end up giving too much credence to the thought. But out of the moments, to know that our shrashim, our roots are great. And the things that pull us, you don't need help. The Baal Shem doesn't need, and Bob Flusker today said like the Baal Shem, and we all smile proudly. Bob Flusker needs chizuk from the Baal Shem. The Baal Shem doesn't need. We get, the world's very into IFS. Every truth is in the Torah. People who know the Baal Shem's Torah, that it's very, very old Torah that the world is tapping into a little bit today is very, very cool stuff. If you know the IFS, how it works, it's all tapping into that Baal Shem. So the Goyim can, Chacham B'Goyim Tamin, they can figure out some truths that the Baal Shem said already many, many years ago. IFS is a craze that's dominating the world today. A lot of Chachamim are running there, and to me, it's very accurate. It has its shrushim in this Torah of the Baal Shem. It's just very accurate. The point of IFS is all your internal things all have good shrushim. They figured it out. So it's just true. Hashem built us right. Hashem did build us right, remarkably. Hashem built us very, very right. So I really want to thank Chaim for sharing the Torah. When Chaim shares his own journey and the things that drew him, this is not getting me and gripping me. That vart, that Torah is called the Shira, that comes from a deep place, that comes and we connect to in a very deep way, I think is very connected. That Torah is called the Shira. It's very appropriate that after Chaim, I believe he just sang to us, but I'm going to ask him to sing with his brother now. So I'm going to ask Chaim and Shlomo to sing. You pick any song you're feeling. I like that. Yeah. Bring us back to Zoom. Yeah. Is that the first time you sang?
Together, yeah. And, yeah.
Where was the first time?
The first time was with me and Campa Good.
Yeah. Take it away.
Ashira Lashem b'chayai v'azamra l'ilaikai b'yoidi ayerav alav sichi anaychi esmach v'ashem Ashira Hashem b'chayai v'azamra l'ilaikai b'yoidi Yerav alav sichi anaychi esmach v'ashem Yitamu Yerushalayim Aydeinam Ay 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 Barki Nafshi Es Hashem Hallelujah Yitamu Chatayim Min Haaretz Urisha
I want to share something. 3 minutes. Thank you, Chaim. 3 minutes, and we got to get to Seder. But a real 3 minutes. Not a Kalish 3 minutes, a Rabbi Kalish 3 minutes. An honest 3 minutes. Like this, quickly. There's Lekavod Chaim. I want to share something, Chaim. There's a Gemara Psachim. The Gemara Psachim, remember any Gemara with traveling? Kalish jumps in. That's Gemaras that catch me. So the Gemara advises when you should do trips. And the Gemara says that journeying, I cannot see a thing, but let's try. I shouldn't say that. Kafui Toiv, I could see, but it's a little blurry. Amar Rav, Dam Reb Yehuda Amar Rav. Reb Yehuda says in the name of Rav, La'olam yikanis adam b'chi toiv v'yetze b'chi toiv. A person should always park when it's toiv, when it's light, and v'yetze b'chi toiv, and travel when it's light. So the key is to travel by daytime hours. In the night is not a time to set out on journeys. It's dangerous tonight. It's dark. It's scary. Robbers are around. Always travel. La'olam yikanis. La'olam is very strong advice. Yikanis adam b'chi toiv, v'yetze b'chi toiv. Yikanis means to park and to set out. Always travel in the daytime hours. Let's see if I can read the Rashi. Says Rashi, Ayoytze l'derech. If a person travels on the road, Yikanes arvis lebeis maloin. At night, go to an inn. Ba'oida chamazayachas, while the sun is still shining. V'lemachar, and in the morning, Royce, yamtim araneitzachama, wait till the light starts shining, v'yatza, and then go out, v'az toivloi. Then it will be good for you, sha'ar toivloi, the light is good. Shenemar ba'ar ki toiv, because it says on the light that it's good. What's it's good? Because chayos and listim. Animals don't tend to be out during the day. They come out at night, many of them. And they're not out by day. People are around. They smell the smell of people. Robbers don't function by day. So always travel by day. Yisrael, you ever learned that Gemara? Yeah, the Gemara is a good advice. Simple advice. Is it still true today? A guy like me thinks. Today the highway lights. So you could say, by the way, always don't run to anything else. Always get the pshat of the Gemara. The pshat of the Gemara, very strong advice. Rabbi Yehuda Amar Rav said, always travel by day. Yikanes b'chi toiv means to park. Go to an inn while it's still day. Park. Settle at night. Find yourself a Motel 6. Settle down. Stop traveling when it's still light. Now, that advice, Avi, that advice is good advice. Maskim Avala. It's good advice. And be careful, Chevra, don't travel. I get very upset. Don't you dare drive tired. Chas v'shalom, Chevra. Very, very important topic. To travel by night as the sun is shining, to travel safely is very, very important. I get very upset. Guys travel late at night. Guys exhausted. Now everybody's body is different. Today their lights, the headlights of the car. Gemaras are true for eternity. I would like to study this Gemara with you in a second. But certainly the Pashas, the Gemara, to travel in a safe manner with no listim and no chayos is very, very important, Yisrael. And never drive tired. It's very upsetting. A guy is losing merits. To ever drive tired, you pull over and you got to sleep somewhere. I have slept by most rest stops in the tri-state area at this point. You're tired. I don't care if I'm 15 minutes away from my house or away from a meeting. And the meeting, I can't be late and I'll be an hour or two late. You pull over and you sleep. You don't drive tired. It's extremely dangerous. People fall asleep driving. And people who fall asleep, Rahman al felt, I'll never fall asleep. You can chas v'sham, you can't drive when you're exhausted. You're not allowed. You pull over somewhere, not even like you see you're getting what you pull over and you see you're running late, so you'll miss the event, but you're going to make future events. So don't drive tired. But Lamaisa, what's Chazal saying? Set out when it's light and park when it's light. It really says park first. Park when it's light and then set out when it's light. And it's Dvarim Pshutim. I only have 1 minute of my 3 left, Shleima. That in our lives, our lives function with night and days. Night and days. And days are times of tremendous clarity when you're a tiger, you're a beast. That's the yom, you're energetic and fiery. And the Laila is a time when there's a lot of disclarity. The listim and chayis rois are out there, all different things threatening you. You don't have all the clarity. It's in the dark, and there are dangerous things lurking to pull you away. And the key point is that travel is meant for the day. And I want to explain that in the hard times, the avodah is to park and settle and keep what you have. Park and settle and keep what you have. In the dark times, there's a tremendous mylin that you may sin or whatever you call those, we call it here in this Chazal Laila, are not meant for traveling and journey and adding. We have different things, and Hashem designed us that we have Yemei Ar, where you're being expansive and traveling and conquering new vistas. And then in Yemei Chayshech, you park in the inn and you hold on to what you have. That's the avoid of the day, the light time hours are meant for travel, journeying, expanding, pushing further. And the night time meant to collect all that you have, to rest your weary bones, make sure you have everything, settle in an inn, pack in all your stuff. You're not meant to travel in advance. You're meant to consolidate and make sure you settle down, you check everybody's together. There's milas to each thing. But to know how to use the different kufas of our life. If there's times you have a nighttime matziv, so it's meant to hold on solid to what you have and protect what you have. The listim, the chayis rice. People travel by night, and then you get stuff stolen and stuff lost and dangerous things. It's meant to consolidate and hold on. Hold on stark, gather in an inn, and just keep what you have. Keep what you have. Hold on stark and keep what you have. That's the nighttime period. Go to the base Malayan, find an inn, settle down, pull your stuff close to you, gather all your stuff in a safe way, and hold on. The sun will yet shine, and you'll journey weiter, and you'll be able to expand again and go further. It's not the time to go further. So that's the Gemara that Lo'olam Yelech Adam Chitayv, Yekanis B'Chitayv, Yelech B'Chitayv. That's what Chazal is teaching us. The times of our life that are meant for expansiveness, to travel weiter, to acquire new, to add. That's an expansive time. And there are times of Laila when it's meant just to hold on to what you have. Consolidate, bring close to you. You're not as expansive then. You're not keeping the same hours, the same things. You're not going to new vistas, you're holding on to what you have and protecting. And that in the journey of life are both of these kufas. The period of day when you're expanding, periods of night when you're protecting and consolidating. That's the exact journey of a person that we have in all our lives, and knowing how to use. There are people who try to travel by night and get all upset. They try to travel by night. They even compare the night to the day. You're not supposed. The night and day are very different. There's night and day. They each have a big functionality, but there's something called night and something called day. Like, oh man, I'm not doing as well because you're doing great. You have to compare the night to the night. In the last night, I'm much better. Tonight, I'm much better. I have all my stuff gathered more safely. You have to compare nights to nights and days to days. And their period, our life is designed with night and day. Vayeher vayvayker. Only Shabbos has no night. All week there's night and day. And there's an avoid of the night. The avoid of the night is find an inn, rest comfortably, pull your stuff close together, gather everything. It's not the time to be expansive. Traveling, expanding, going weiter is meant for the daytime hours. The nighttime is gathering close, counting up what you have. In the difficult times, you could see what you've been kind of. what's yours. You go to your inn, you bring all your possessions, you make sure all the travelers are there, everything's there. You just have what you have. You're not expanding further, but you find out what you have in the night. It's very, very good. You make sure everything's there. That's the nighttime avodah, and that's what the Gemara Mesachim says I wanted to share. Let's get right to Seder.